Welcome back. Thank you for all of your Merry Christmases and your Happy New Years and your well wishes. I love it. Thank you. Happy New Year to all of you, and I wish you blissful meditations this year. And that leads us to the subject of today. A dear friend of mine sent me a wonderful article on sensory neurites, the discovery of sensory neurites within the heart. And I'll have that article linked below. It's called The Potential Clinical Relevance of the Little Brain Within the Mammalian Heart. So really amazing, the discovery of brain-like cells within the heart. And so we're showing clearly that there's a basis for understanding that there are memories held within the body. So it's a great article. I hope you read it. And let's go back a little bit further to a wonderful book written by Dr. Paul Pearson called The Heart's Code. And in that book, he relates a number of stories about people who received a heart transplant in surgery and then came out of surgery and started accessing the memories of the person that owned the heart before them. One person found a liking of cigars suddenly, which was very odd for them. Another person recovered other memories from the person that had owned the heart before them. And if I remember correctly, there's a story about a young man who received the heart of a little girl and went to his mom and said, "Mom, I have memories of the killing of this girl." And they went to the police, and because of those clues, the police actually caught the killer of that little girl. So kind of a lot of amazing stories. And all of this has to do with with brain information being held inside of the body. So it's really amazing. And now we have proof that there are brains type neurons within the heart. It's really amazing. So even if we didn't know that, even if we didn't know that there are sensory neurites within the heart, we know that the body is flooded with neurotransmitters. So there's a neuron on one side and a neuron on the other side. And the way that the electrical charge of information is passed from one neuron to the next, there are neurotransmitter chemicals in between those two neurons, which enable that charge to pass through from one side to the other. Those neurotransmitters flood through the body. There are so many neurotransmitters floating in your body right now that if we could just stick you in a vat and remove everything but the neurotransmitters, we could call over your friend and say, "Hey, look at these neurotransmitters. Who is that?" And it was, "Oh, that's so-and-so." They would know who you are by the look of those neurotransmitters. That's how many are floating in your system right now. It's just, they're flooded throughout the entire body. And this is how the brain communicates using the central nervous system with the body. So the gap between the brain and the body is known to us. There's no gap. The body is flooded with neurotransmitters. Now we even know the heart definitely has sensory neurites, cardiac afferent neurons. Really amazing things. Now that we know all of that, we can go back one step further to a book written by Michael Talbot. And the book is called Holographic Universe. So I'm going to have all these books linked below, okay? So if you want to check those out, and they're really wonderful books to grasp and begin to get a handle on how this interchange goes between the brain and the body. And so within that book, the author explains how a holograph works. And basically, you build yourself a holographic plate, and then you take that plate and you shine a laser through the plate, and on the other side, you get a hologram. Now that's interesting enough already. But when you take that holographic plate and you break it in half, and then you shine the laser through that half of the holographic plate, you still get the same image. You don't get half of a hologram, you get the whole hologram, but with less information. That's because every speck of the holographic plate contains the whole of the hologram. So the whole is contained within the entire plate. Does any of this sound familiar with spiritual talks that people give? The whole is contained within the entire plate. And so if you break that plate again and shine the laser through now a quarter piece of the plate, you still get the hologram projected out with less detail, but the same exact hologram. If you started with a plate, which is an apple, and you shine the laser, and then you break it in half, and you shine the laser, and you break it in half, and you shine the laser, each time you will still get the hologram of the apple. So it's really amazing. No matter how small you break that plate, as long as you can still shine a laser through it, you'll still get a projected hologram of the apple. Really, really amazing. And that's how your nervous system works. The whole of your brain is projected down into the body, and every piece of the body contains the whole of your brain. And this is exactly how the chakras work. The limbic brain is projected down into the body, and we learn of those, we intercept on those, and we call them chakras. So all of that understanding makes Om Japa technology even more relevant. It's absolutely relevant. So there's a few systems that work very well. One is Huna prayer, one is timeline therapy, and another is Om Japa technology. All of these systems work with the projections which are held within the body. And by working on those projections, they affect the brain. So what is done in the body goes back to the brain because it's nothing but a hologram of one system, which is whatever is contained inside of your brain. And that means all of what is contained, not just part, but all your hopes and all your fears, all your joys and all of your sorrows. So all of that is projected down into the body. And that's perhaps while some diseases will gravitate to one or another part of the body, depending on where we keep our sorrows and where we keep our negative ideas. So one of the easiest places that we can feel this is the third chakra, which is the center of fear. So if you can feel into your third chakra, sense into it, sense what might be a fearful thing to you, and then chant Om into that center, that third center, and then see how the fear changes. See how your psychology changes because you applied this technology. Same thing goes for the heart. If we have an old heartache or an old hurt, and we feel that hurt in the heart, and then we chant Om into the heart mentally over and over again, and then check the heart and see how we feel. Has that old hurt changed? Has that old heartache changed? Or is it the same? And now we're creating a relationship between the chakra projections and our experience of them after we do Om Japa technology. That's that reciprocal relationship that I talk about now and then. So really amazing stuff. Your body is full of neurotransmitters. Your brain is projected into your body. And with the technology of Om Japa, you can actually affect your brain. So when you're practicing heart rate variability, when you're practicing the blood pressure variability breath that I teach in the training I just released, when you practice all of that, and then you practice Om Japa, you're going to even more deeply affect your psyche. You affect the body machinery, and then you affect the psyche, and you get yourself into a very, very quiet space. It's a glorious, glorious technology. You put all of those together, and you have yourself an extremely powerful engine. So, I hope you loved all of this. If you did, be sure to hit that bell down below so I can see you guys next time. Take care and happy New Year.